All right, so here we go. These are the plants once again that are in the small 2.5-inch square pots, very shallow pots. And because all of these guys are growing together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants in some of these pots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got some runts and you've got some nice, nice ones that are obviously much larger. And separating them is a little bit challenging because you're going to do some damage to these roots. Even if you spray with water and you're careful, you're going to damage those roots, and then they're going to shock out on you most likely. Even though they do pretty good, but they will occasionally get pretty shocked. So you could see these J bends down here. I hope you can see that. And here's another one. Got a J, comes up, bends, goes back down, lateral roots. And then you have this third one here, which actually doesn't have much of a, it looks like it broke off. So that's kind of good, broke off, that'll be fine. It'll spread outwards with lateral roots. And then you've got in that little pot these two little runt guys that if you want to plant, you can plant, but they're small and maybe not the best choice. So some people would toss these away. So I'm going to focus on these three, and I'm going to take these two because they look like the best in terms of the size. But again, these are going to be containerized because the root systems are really not adequate for field planting. So I'm going to put those in this pot right over here. I'm going to just push down, put them about in this pot about 3 inches away from each other. The pot already has some organic potting soil at the bottom, and it also has 13-13-13, which is a balanced fertilizer, time release, very good stuff, and it will help these plants to get a nice healthy start and grow bigger. Now, the reason that I put these in pots 2 at a time is because I like the idea of having my container plants with 2 main branches. So it's planted in here. They look good, they look nice. It's going to get moved, and we're going to put it in a bright location, but not direct sun, a little bit of filtered light, and we'll water it, keep it moist. By the way, the potting soil that I'm using is, in this particular case, I'm using Pro Mix with mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is a fungi that is incorporated into the soil to help actually the roots develop overall condition, better nutrient uptake, and also keeps them healthy, protects them actually from diseases. Because the fungi, you have 2 different kinds. You have ecto and endo, and these fungi get on the exterior or inside of the roots, create these nodes that then provide protection from, in some cases, it protects against nematodes. So I like to use the idea of applying my mycorrhiza. There is some organic and a little bit of fertilizer that's a time release fertilizer. In this case, I'm using a 13-13-13. It's a balanced fertilizer. And in a week or so, I'm going to add a little bit extra pinch of phosphorus. All right, so let me summarize what we've done here. These are Arabica plants, coffee Arabica. There's 2 plants now per pot. And the reason that I do that, again, in case I didn't mention it, is because I like the idea of growing in containers, and I like the idea of having 2 plants in the container, because even though Arabica is self-pollinating, I like the idea of 2 of them. It helps them to stay more compact. I know that it taxes them for more fertilizer and minerals and so on, but that's okay. I keep an eye on it, and my plants in containers have produced quite a bit of cherries. The next thing I want to show you is that, remember that when you buy them, a lot of times they'll come maybe in a pot like this, but there'll be a whole bunch of them in there. And as an example, I showed you these guys, and you got to see the roots. And you saw how those roots were bent, and really not a good idea if you're, for some reason, planning on planting seeds and growing for a field, okay? You don't want that J curve of the tap root of the plant. Not a good situation. Containerized, no big deal. Would have been better if it didn't. Nice and straight, then you pinch it at the bottom, and then it goes nice lateral roots. But if you're in a situation where you buy plants like this from somebody, just pinch it, plant it, and go with it, and container grow, okay? So now what I'm going to do is, if you want to avoid the idea of having a plant grow with that J shape, get something deep. Okay, these are cone tubes that come with a system. I'm not going to go into the whole system. I showed it to you in a previous video, but they kind of go into a grid. Actually, they go into a rack, and they stay there, and no big deal. It's just that I thought it would be a good idea to try this from my seedlings. And right now I have about 48 coffee robusta seedlings, and we're going to see how they do. So again, you want a nice long taproot. You want to separate them from the pot, spread them out, rinse off the roots, plant them the way I explained to you. If you want to learn more, check us out at pepysplants.com. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel today. And you know, if you like what you saw here, give us a thumbs up. Thank you.